we are going to discuss on the topic Southern India as a hub for higher education and what are the challenges and opportunities. In fact, we've been discussing on education and education linkage with the industry and how each one is driving the other since morning. And I was really deeply impressed by the conversation which we have been having and also the level of participation. And this is an indicator of the fact that Chennai or Tamil Nadu as a hub of education and then participation from entire south of India, the 5 southern states which we have, Tamil Nadu, Andhra, Telangana, Karnataka, Kerala, and also the Union Territory of Pondicherry. For last many years has really driven the educational landscape in the country, and especially in the, I would say, in the private sector, because some of the best institutions of the country are located here. So there are huge opportunities, and as the Principal Secretary was also telling us in the morning, the state of Telangana has a GER of 48% plus, and many of the other southern states also, including Karnataka and Telangana, very high GERs close to 40. So this not only presents opportunities, but also a lot of challenges. So it will be very interesting to discuss on that. I would start with our first panelist. Maybe you can all give a brief your viewpoint on it, maybe over a 2 or 3 minute kind of a presentation, and then we will discuss further on that and then open it up to the audience for some questions. So we start with you.
Yeah, it's a very interesting topic, challenges and opportunities. I feel that challenges and opportunities are intertwined. They go hand in hand. Wherever there is opportunities, it creates challenges, and wherever there's challenges, we have opportunities as well. See, India has, let us look at the opportunities now. India, by 2020, India will be the youngest nation with 64% of the population in the working age group. This is a huge advantage, and if we harness this properly, 25% of the world's workforce will be Indians. That is 1 in every 4 working person will be an Indian. So that throws up the challenge for India for creating a globally competent workforce. So that's a huge challenge. And one of the ways of handling it is through higher education. India's GER, gross enrollment ratio in higher education is around, it's now 45.8, 45.5. And we say, and the developed nations like US, it is around 80%. So, though the gap looks really huge, see, if you're looking at India's demographics, the number of students who can be enrolled into higher education stands at, number of people who can be enrolled in higher education stands at 140 million, out of which our GR is 25.8, and so around 36 million are enrolled in higher education. If you look at US, the number of people who could be eligible to be enrolled in higher education is only 28 million. And out of that, 85%, only around 24 million are enrolled in higher education. That shows that there are more Indians enrolled in higher education than the natives of US. So this is, while this is a thing we can be proud of, at the same time, the challenge is, even if we want to grow 1% in GER, for out of this 140 million people, 1% increase in GER, we have to provide for 1.4 million students. So that is a huge challenge. And in this regard, I should say that South India has taken a lead in that, because Tamil Nadu has the GR at Tamil Nadu is 48.5%, and followed by Andhra Pradesh and other states. This is a lead, and if you're looking at the college density, which is the number of colleges per lakh population of the students, it is highest in Telangana and followed by Karnataka. And so that also the South has a lead, so we can provide for more students. And the higher education is quite capital intensive, and the number of private players in higher education in the South is also very high. It's Telangana and Andhra Pradesh with 82% participation by private players, followed by Tamil Nadu with 76% participation. So these are all very positive points. But when you are looking at the challenges, see, these have opened up quite a lot of challenges. If you're looking at the challenges, the quality of the workforce. Creating the quality, proper quality of the workforce is a huge challenge because we've gone into a huge massification of education. A lot of the quantity is more, and there are studies which says that as far as employability is concerned, Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh are in the bottom 25 of the states with regards to employability. So what we have to think is the increase in higher education, number of students at GE, and increase in the gross enrollment ratio, are we compromising on the quality? Is it indirectly proportional to the quality of the students? And what are the challenges in providing this quality education? I should think that we should have a more, a few points. We should have more a symbiotic relationship between the industry, because industry is complaining about non-employability, unemployability of the students. So, but the participation of the industry with the academia, that could definitely be improved. The other thing is the quality of the teachers. See, when we have to cater to so many students, then the quality of this teacher is an important thing. If you look at, we are very proud that the higher education has so many people involved in that, but if you're looking at undergraduate studies, 80% of the students are enrolled in undergraduate studies, and only 0.4% are enrolled in PhD. And the number of people who are willing to come into the teaching profession and enhancing the knowledge, PhDs, all these people enhance the knowledge. That is also a big challenge. And the financial autonomy, making education really, affordable. That is also a challenge, and I feel that this challenge could be helped with the CSR funding of the respective companies. So these are the few challenges which we face.
Thank you. I think you've quite comprehensively brought out the challenges. I move on to Professor Mohanty. In fact, we were having a small conversation during the lunchtime, and you were mentioning about the faculty recruitment, and also, in the context of higher education. So maybe you could enlighten us more on that, and also some of the other challenges and opportunities which are there in the higher education sector in southern India.
Thank you. Beautiful minds on and off the dais. It's always very challenging in the second half of the session when you deliberate. Sleepy minds. Well, it's really very, very important topic that the challenges you need to know. We should have been started at the first session. Anyway, as my co-panelists very rightly said that by 2020, our tertiary population below 20 will be the largest youthful population below 20 in the world. 1 out of every 4 graduates will be from India. It's really alarming. And as the GER, high GER of Tamil Nadu, with that, it's a blessing, but with a caution. Maybe the benefits may not be tapped by India in general and particular, Tamil Nadu in particular, unless and until we build, when it comes to higher education, we build context around higher educations. Try to understand the smell of the higher education, change the smell and context of the higher education. Some researchers say it's a smell. How to change the context or smell of the higher education is very important. Changing, it's not a big question like changing people, revitalizing people per se is important. What is more important is revitalizing the context around people is more important. How we can revitalize the context around people. We've got wonderful people, so many young, youthful people, in fact. But the context is missing, the smell, and we are all ridden with 4 horrible C's: constraint, compliance, control, and contract. These 4 horrible C's I call smell. What is the smell? Constraint is the smell. And how do I put it? I mean, it's very hard to put smell, but then let me take you in a journey. Before I joined this institution, before that, quite 3-4 years I was in US. And I used to travel from New Jersey to New York. My institute was in New York. And every weekend, when I walked down into the Lenape Trail, there's a beautiful forest, I feel invigorated. And ideas, they come shooting into my mind. I feel jumping and walking, and ideation takes place. I got energized. And every year, in summer, I used to visit my family, my mother, my parents, in India, in Bhubaneswar. Bhubaneswar being a place, it's a humid. Every time, if you come in summer, the humidity would be 100%. And I cannot come out of my home because it's very humid. I have all the energy, but it saps away my energy. The context, the place, saps away my energy. So that's very important. How we can change the context. And when you come, I challenge, if you go to, if I ask you to come to the Lenape Trail, you walk down for a few minutes, you feel invigorated, you feel charged, and ideas start floating into your head, and you feel very stretched. You're not constrained, rather you feel very stretched. So the policy, I talk about that, the constraint, compliance, control, and contract. Constraint means 700 universities we are having, more than 700 universities. But not a single university finding a place under best 200 is a constraint. Infrastructure is a constraint. Syllabus, poor syllabus, not industrial link, is a constraint. Poor faculty, resources is a constraint. Funding is a constraint. I applied for one research project. That project got selected in Academy of Management, but I didn't get any funding from AICT. So because I am with now Sona School of Management, so there's a casteism within the institution. That's a constraint. And rigid policy is a constraint. So these are the constraints. So we have to move from constraint to stretch. Second horrible C is compliance. And we build all the policies without consulting the grass level reality, understanding the grass level reality. We formulate all big complicated policies which may not be whole good. So we do it just to comply. We formulate, you comply. So ultimately it creates to control. This control mechanism and control. And as a result, the relationship becomes contract. The result becomes contract. My daughter still now reads that what you call Midsummer Night Dream. How relevant is Midsummer Night Dream in this 12th class? It's not relevant. But this is how we do the policies. So everything is contract. Good marks is a contract. May not be industry ready, but you should get good marks. It's a contract. So these 4 horrible C's, these are the impediments. So we need to revitalize people. It's not just lot to do with it, but we need to build context around people and human resources. So what are the solutions? I would rather say the solution is to move away from compliance, constraint to stretch, compliance to discipline, because compliance is external, discipline is internal. If you are disciplined, if you really set your mind, you will go extra miles, right? It is my thing. I love this place. Probably if you ask a fish to climb a tree, entire life the fish will be thinking about what the hell is that? You will be so confused, the fish will be so confused. So the compliance is external, discipline is internal. Control, from control we have to move from control to support. I'm not saying we can really, any system can function without compliance, but not too much compliance. Reasonable amount of compliance, intelligent compliance system we need to build. From control to support, support is very important. And lastly, from contract, we need to move to trust. We need to trust that intelligence is not confined to few organizations. So the fund, the people, the institution who are giving funds, they should understand that intelligence is not confined to some few institutions. They should really encourage people, build trust, that talent, with a belief that talent is not confined to few starry-eyed, narrowly specialized institutions like IIT and IIM, which they contribute only 0.25% of the students. Why cannot build MIT? MIT is not just engineering, it's all multi-specialization organization. Lastly, when we are making ready ourselves for 4.0 ready, we should not forget, as we started with Veda, but we should not be teaching Veda at the end of the education. Veda should be taught right from the beginning. And 4.0, O for oxygen. I call it our own Mother Earth. We should not be forgetting about it. Lastly, a very powerful mantra from Rig Veda. Amantrang akshara nasti, nasti mulo shadi, ayogya purusha nasti, jajagatastra dullabha. There is no amantrang, means there is no magical incantation. There is no letter which cannot be converted into magical incantation, mantra. Amantrang akshara nasti, nasti mulo shadi. There is no such roots of a plant which cannot be transformed into medicinal uses or purposes. Amantrang akshara nasti, nasti mulo shadi. Ayagya purusha nasti. There is no complete assholes or good for nothing good person. Completely stupid person. What is not available in abundance these days is Jajakatastra, the binder, the, alchemist, who can really transform the akshara, the letter, into mantra, the shoots and roots into herbal medical incantation, and good for nothing stuff into really great stuff. So we need to build context. Not revitalizing people is not important more. What is most important is building the context around our higher educational system. Thank you very much.
You very, very brilliantly brought about this entire context in higher education. And I must say that I'm happy that the new draft of the new national education policy, I think, addresses some of those issues very well. I hope the final policy, when it comes out, addresses it fully. So we move on to Mrs. Meganathan. Your views on the subject.
Yeah, good evening. I think I have a slight advantage because you all have now woken up a little bit after listening to about three persons. That was the latest one has come out with some very, awakening messages. I'm now going to stick on to the southern India as a hub for higher education, challenges and opportunities. Okay, the statistics says that every 1,000 square kilometer, we have 10.6 colleges across India. So southern states they are above average, like meaning they have something like about 50% above the average. So the capacity has been created. thanks to the right policies taken at the right time, we cannot overlook the fact that India is a nation with a 1.3 billion, wherein 50% of them are less than 35 years of age, looking for education, wherein the privatizing also had to take place in order to address the issues of GER and things like that. Now, thankfully, Tamil Nadu has got a 48 plus percentage of GER, which is the highest in the country. And I would say, like, when you talk about hub for higher education, what we mean is a center where it attracts a lot of students. So we do have students, young population across the country. We don't have to even look outside the country. We have within our own country, there are geographic zones that are not at all served, like Northeast and things like that. So we have enough number of people. That is an opportunity. And we've got, in South particularly, we've created the infrastructure, but still the infrastructure is not state of the art to think in terms of, like, you need to have airports, railway stations, where the students can connect easily. That way, if you see across the southern states, Tamil Nadu has got majority of major towns. Like Tamil Nadu has got, apart from Chennai, you got Madurai, Coimbatore, Salem, Trichy, and Tuticorin, maybe one or two, all of them connected by air. And air connectivity, and almost all the towns are connected by the train, and I think all the southern states that we are talking about are connected by railway, and you have reasonably good roads. So if this is improved further, our vision of our finance minister, while she was talking about, while she was releasing the budget, they were also talking about attracting students from across the globe. This can also happen provided our infrastructure becomes world class. In terms of, like, you should have connectivity from any part of the world. Your international airports should be very, very comfortable, and then you should have student accommodations that are very clean and neat and comfortable. So these things you have a great opportunity there. We've created some infrastructure. If that can be made further fine-tuned, I think I don't see any reason, because we also should remember our own students are spending 5 times or 6 times what they would spend here across in some other country when they go to do their PG. And of the countries now, UK is closed, and Europe is never that, could take that number that we are able to supply in terms of employment. US too is now having a lot of issues about. So why don't we provide for our own students the best of the postgraduate education, which means we have to ensure that we have a vibrant economy. What do people do after doing their PG? So do you have the absorption capacity? This is another thing, So we need to, when we are talking about challenges and opportunities, are you having the infrastructure? Are you having the economy that is vibrant to absorb all the higher education, students who come out of higher education scenario, and teacher availability? That is a positive to some extent here, because we do have teachers who are reasonably good, but nevertheless there is need for further improvement on a global. And now technology is connecting a lot. Teachers are all having all the international journals that are made available to any teacher who is in Harvard. Or in fact, they can access the learning curriculum of Harvard itself from where they are sitting. So IT has made teacher learning as well as student learning a lot more comfortable, and we are very good in, we've leapfrog compared to the 80s where we were struggling for a LAN telephone connection. Today, the internet is available for majority of the people. And then the culture, the southern culture of, that learning culture, has been there for some time. At least for Tamil Nadu, we've had for about over 5,000 years of, we have kind of things like Tirukkural and Tolkapiyam and things like that, where people have gone in depth in learning, acquiring knowledge, and disseminating knowledge. So since I don't know about Andhra and Kerala and Karnataka, I'm not able to comment, but I'm sure they also should be having such a culture. So with these things, I do see great opportunity with little tinkering, with large amount of tinkering on the infrastructure, a little improvement on teacher learning and economy, I suppose, would do well, provided we I mean, it is a sort of a very cyclical thing. Like, you provide very good students, the economy will do well. When the economy is very good, they will absorb students. So it is that kind of a... So with these words, let me say, I am very hopeful that southern states are leading the country in terms of becoming hub for higher education. I'm sure the country is soon to follow. Thank you.